It's 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Good morning. I'm Jim Thorn, and today is Friday. And you know what that means? That means it's time for That's What's Happening's Blues and Arts Hour. It's a program where we feature some of Mississippi's finest singers, songwriters, musicians, and artists. And the program is made possible every week by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi. It's good to be blue. Also, thanks to one-of-a-kind, locally owned Fusion Coffee House, Highland Colony Parkway in Ridgeland. And they are featuring live jazz this Saturday, tomorrow, from 1 till 3 there at Fusion. About a year ago, we had as our featured artist, a young lady originally from right here in Flora, Mississippi. She now lives in Nashville, and her music is sometimes appropriately described as old soul, with influences from Sheryl Crow, Bonnie Raitt, the Cranberries, John Prine, and Alanis Morissette. Kailey Mathis has a new project about to be released called Overcast. It sounds great, and I wanted to have her back so we can kind of get a preview of the project and talk again about with this very talented young lady. And it's a pleasure to welcome back to the Blues and Arts Hour, Kailey Mathis. Good morning, Kailey.
Good morning, Jim. Thanks for having me on again today.
Well, it's a pleasure. I like your album. You sent me kind of a little preview of that. And by the way, it's not quite out yet. It's called Overcast, but tell us when that's going to be released.
Right, yes, sir. So it is going to be released next Friday, August 25th. On most platforms, it's right at midnight. It should have no issues there. But, it should be out midnight in the listener's time zone, August 25th, next Friday. So we got another week to wait here, but it feels right around the corner.
Well, this is your second project, I think, right? Your first one called Old Soul. Is that right, Kailey?
Yes, sir. So last year was my debut album, Old Soul, that came out in April, I believe it was. I don't know. It's been a crazy year. And then this is my second album. So after Old Soul came out last year, we released a couple of singles that are going to be included on this album. And then, again, I've really just had a crazy year in 2023. So I finally just sat down and said, you know what, if I don't come out with this music now, we just got to make time for it, basically. So we're finally coming out with the other, so there's going to be 7 new songs on this album that have been unreleased, and then they're compiled with the other 5. So it's a total of 12-song album, and I'm just really excited about it.
Now, can people find out more about you at your website and that sort of thing?
Yes, sir. So I have a website, KaileyMathis.com. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, those social media websites. They can hear some videos I've been putting out that have snippets of all the unreleased songs we're about to be hearing next Friday. I've been dropping little sneak peeks there. And then they can also just keep up with my music in general and all the releases and just see past things and just kind of catch up if they want to. KaileyMathis.com. Is that right, Kailey? Yes, sir.
All right. Let's enjoy a song. Is this a song called Times Have Changed? Is this one of the new ones?
So this is one of the singles. It was actually the last single that I released in 2022.
Okay.
So later in the year, and it's definitely one of my favorites. I really like this one. It has a really big sound.
Well, I think our listeners are going to like it too. Again, it's called Times Have Changed, from our featured artist, Kailey Mathis, on the Blues and Arts Hour.
There's times when I find myself There's times when I find myself standing in the sun thinking about you.
Terrific. Kailey Mathis and Times Have Changed. And Kailey, again, how can people access your music?
Really any streaming service that you can think of, it's pretty much on. Of course, the big ones, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, Amazon, Tidal. It's on iTunes. Mm-hmm. So
it's out there.
Yeah, it's out there.
All right. Well, check it out. Kailey Mathis, KaileyMathis. And our website is KaileyMathis.com. I'm Jim Thorn. We're going to take a break and come back and enjoy some more music, talk about her latest project called Overcast. So don't go away. The Blues and Arts Hour is made possible every week by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi. It's good to be blue. Thanks also to one-of-a-kind, locally owned Fusion Coffee House, Highland Colony Parkway in Ridgeland. 15 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome back. It's 19 after 9. I'm Jim Thorn. You're listening to the Blues and Arts Hour on 103.9 WYAB. Our very special featured artist this morning is a young lady out of Nashville, Tennessee. Actually, she's from Flora, Mississippi, but living in Nashville. And Kailey Mathis is her name and has a new project out called Overcast. Kailey, how long have you been in Nashville?
I guess I would say coming on 5 years. I think I moved in 2018, I believe. It's hard to keep up.
Yeah, you got folks here in Florida, though, and you're a hometown girl. You ever get homesick?
I do, actually.
Yeah?
I've been trying to find the balance and, trying to go back with gas being so expensive. It's hard to do it. And that 7 hours there and back, is a lot. But I do try to make time to come home when I can.
Yeah, well, we welcome you back whenever you can. Now, this album's called Overcast, your second project. Your first one's called Old Soul. How does this one contrast, or does it contrast with your previous one? Has your style changed? Have you matured as far as your songwriting ability? Talk about that if you would, Kailey.
That's a good question. I think overall it does have some similar sounds, but I do think it is more, some of the songs, like one that we have is really piano based. Mm-hmm. So I would say that's something that I didn't have on the previous album. And I really think this, it's hard to say if it matured. I think I've gotten better as a songwriter.
Yeah.
But also I think that these songs really encapsulate really the last couple of years of my life and commentating on that. Whereas obviously your first album that any artist would put out is anything, it can cover anything in their whole life, which at the time when I released that other one I had only been here for 26 years or something like that. I don't know. I don't know how many years I had to basically culminate those stories, but this really focuses on basically things that I've been going through in these last couple of years, and talks about that. It's got some of the songs sound a little, I would say, kind of Oasis, mm-hmm. a little, if you know who the Raconteurs are, a little bit of that incorporates that kind of music. So we just have a lot of different styles of music. It's hard for me to say I'm one specific type.
Yeah, exactly. Now, was it recorded there in Nashville?
It was. It was recorded. All of these songs were recorded here in Nashville with my producer, Brandon Mosley, mm-hmm. with Megatonic Audio. And so we just work on that all together. He honestly plays a lot of the instruments himself, so it's really sometimes we hire a bass player, occasionally a cello player, but we're pretty much a duo team here, and I just really like to make music that's fun to listen to, but really packs a punch with the lyrics. Yeah. That's really my style. I've always gravitated towards just good lyrical content.
Let's hear a song, Kailey, called Come Back to Me. Any comments on this before we air it?
I would just say I wrote this song just as a commentary on when everyone goes through grief and things like that, and the world basically just keeps on going, and you're trying to deal with that, whether that takes 2 months or 2 years or whatever it may be. The world doesn't stop turning for us, whether it's that or anything else going on in our life. So it was just my commentary on that.
All right. Let's enjoy it. It's called Come Back to Me. Again, our featured artist this morning is Kailey Mathis. Come Back to Me, Kailey Mathis on the Blues and Arts Hour. And Kailey, is that on your latest project?
Yes, sir. So that's going to be on the Overcast album.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. And that'll be available starting a week from tonight, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. August 25th, the next Friday. It's going to be on any streaming platform you can think of, and you can get it on iTunes or Amazon if you want to purchase that.
That'd be great. I know your influences, musical influences, some of them, Bonnie Raitt, John Prine, Sheryl Crow, and others, but you're a young lady, and these artists are kind of from an earlier generation. I'm just curious, what's the draw that you had from them? I mean, what drew you to them?
Well, specifically Bonnie Raitt, I have always admired just her pure musicianship. She really owns the stage with how great of a musician and a player she is. So I've always admired that, especially as another female myself, trying to be in, I grew up listening to like a bunch of classic rock bands, and so you see all those obviously they're all guys and stuff, and so that was really the first woman I saw, and I was like, man, she is so awesome, I want to be like her. So I really love Bonnie Raitt. And then John Prine, same thing. I kind of grew up listening to him as kind of a one-off, and I've just always admired just his lyrical content. He is to me one of the ultimate lyric masters of. He can just about fit, it seems like, a whole story in like 2 lines, and it's incredible. So I've always thought that was amazing, and I've always wanted to write stuff like him, to be able to just really cleverly say things and just fit a lot in like that. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And then when I got into college, I started really digging into other types of music, and that's kind of what led me to that late 90s, early 2000s I don't know, would you call it alternative rock? I don't know, kind of style of music, and kind of digging into that. So,
well, I tell you, Kailey, and I've talked to a lot of young people your age and even younger that are drawn to these really fabulous older artists. And I think what you said just kind of nailed it. The quality and the depth that they have, it's refreshing to come back to that, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Go ahead. Were you saying?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was just going to say it is refreshing to come back to that, especially, like I said, a lot of times you just see artists just, I don't know, just the content that it seems like came out previously. It seems like what they were saying had a lot more emotional depth to it. Mm-hmm. So I feel like people are starting to gravitate towards that now because they want to hear music that makes them feel something. That's always why I've listened to music, is I just want that emotional kind of connection and release. And then some of the new stuff, which isn't a bad thing, it's just a lot lighter to listen to. And that's not always everybody's favorite thing to listen to. So I feel like, I don't know, I'm happy that the generation may be, turning around and listening to stuff that is a real craft. There's a real craft to music, and that's part of the fun, is listening to that and enjoying and picking it apart.
Yeah, and getting back to that, those depth, I guess what I'm saying there. So Very good. Well, we're going to take a break for our CBS News update. My name is Jim Thorn. You're listening to the Blues and Arts Hour on 103.9 WYAB. Our special featured artist today, Kailey Mathis, and her brand new album is called Overcast, will be released a week from today. And you can find out more about Kailey at her website, KaileyMathis.com. The program, the Blues and Arts Hour, is made possible every week by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi. It's good to be blue. Also, thanks to one-of-a-kind locally owned Fusion Coffee House in the township on Highland Colony Parkway in Ridgeland. And I want to remind you, tomorrow afternoon from 1 till 3, it's jazz at Fusion, featuring some members of the Mississippians Jazz Ensemble with their director, Dr. Michael Worthy. So check that out if you like. Check their website out, fusioncoffeehouse.com. All right, it's 9:30. I'm Jim Thorn. More when we come back. Y'all stay with us. It's 24 minutes until 10. Welcome back. I'm Jim Thorn. You're listening to the Blues and Arts Hour on 103.9 WYAB. Our featured artist this morning, a young lady who lives in Nashville right now, but is from Flora, Mississippi. Her name's Kailey Mathis. Has a brand new project about to come out in a week called Overcast. It's dynamic, and I recommend that you really, really do check that out. Her website is KaileyMathis.com. Kailey, your songs, I'm listening to them. They do have a lot of emotion, a lot of feelings, a lot of depth. Are you ever hesitant about maybe putting yourself out there so listeners can hear that?
It really depends. So, I mean, not usually. I try to write about really real things that people deal with, but I'm always careful to not write things in a certain way that can be taken in the wrong way. I don't really know how to describe that, but I don't know. It's hard to say, because like this new album also has some Christian music on it,
right?
And so I never wanted to be just, I guess, ever against that kind of mindset, because I am a Christian, even if I don't sing. The music doesn't have to be necessarily a worship or a Christian song, but I never want to go against that. So that's really the only thing I'm really careful about. But otherwise, I try to be very real. Not every stories can be, and songs can be inspired by various things in my life or various things that I've seen, and it can be multiple stories put into one, or it can be just one thing that happened to me. Or, like, for instance, the next song we're going to play, Miles Away, I've definitely slightly felt that, but that was also just a general overall concept to sing about. So it just really depends on every song. But typically I try to be very open, and like I said, my goal is to make music very emotional. So I do definitely tap into that and just try to be very open and honest about those feelings.
And I know it's appreciated by those who listen to your music, Kailey, so thank you. Miles Away. Okay, let's hear this song, and any more comments on this before we start it up?
I would just say this was one of my, what I would say, more fun listens. I guess I would say it's got a nice groove, and it's about a relationship that's kind of starting to go long distance, maybe physically and emotionally, and you're kind of reminiscing back on the good old days and seeing, you're at that turning point. Are we going to stop doing this, or are we going to turn back and, be like it used to be? So I really enjoy this song, so I hope you do too.
All right, here we go. Miles Away, Kailey Mathis. Kailey Mathis and Miles Away. Well done, Kailey. I love that song. Very nice.
Thank you.
Let's talk about your website. I know you've got some videos there. You've got some photos. What all can we find there?
Well, my website is just basically a general hub for everything. Other websites. So on YouTube, it has some links there to go to my official music videos there on YouTube. And we have those for my first 3 singles I ever came out with, Do You Feel Tired, She, and Hey Daddy. Those were my 3 first videos. So, and then I have some short form videos that I've been putting out that those can be either covers of songs that I really enjoy or just some promotional stuff for this new album I've been putting out as well that have, like I was saying earlier, those sneak peeks of the unreleased music. Mm-hmm. And it pulls a lot of photos from Instagram, Facebook. It has all the links to basically any of my music that's ever come out. So it will definitely change and develop as we go through, and if we ever add dates for playing live. But typically my website is just like the main hub where you can find everything and not have to search individually on any random site.
Well, check it out, folks. It's KaileyMathis.com, and some great information right there about our featured artist on the Blues and Arts Hour today, Kailey Mathis. We're going to take a break and come back for some more music and conversation. Y'all don't go away. Our program, the Blues and Arts Hour, is made possible every week by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi. It's good to be blue. They've been a long-time sponsor of the show. We really appreciate them. Also, thanks to one-of-a-kind locally owned Fusion Coffee House, Highland Colony Parkway in Ridgeland. 16 minutes until 10. And again, I'm Jim Thorn, the Blues and Arts Hour here on 103.9 WYAB. We're 11 minutes away from 10 o'clock. Jim Thorn here on the Blues and Arts Hour. Our featured artist today, Kailey Mathis. Find out more about her at KaileyMathis.com. Her new project, Overcast, is coming out in about a week, so check that out. Kailey, I know when you're recording, maybe coming out with, creating new songs and that sort of thing, do you hear the song in your head before you go into the studio? How does that work?
Well, typically, it really depends. This album was really different. Like, the last album, I definitely wrote all of my music first, and usually I may not even write that with a guitar, or it may just be me and a guitar. But this time I tried a little something different. So my producer actually came to me beforehand with a couple of these with some pre-done, like structured out songs, and then I wrote to that.
Okay.
I was really happy with how that turned out, but it was honestly a little bit more difficult for me just because it did kind of set a parameter for you. So it was hard to like listen to the music and see how that made me feel and then write to that. But I was really happy at how all of them turned out. So like I said, every song really is just really different on expectations, and what you think may work in the studio turns out to be a bust, and you just kind of have to turn around and, let's do this instead, let's do this. Yeah. So it's just very different.
Well, I have a song queued up. It's called All I Have Left, and any background on this, Kailey?
So this is actually an unreleased song. You can't get it right now, so this is the first full preview anybody's ever going to hear of it before next Friday when it comes out. And it's just, I can't say it's my favorite off the album. Obviously, if I didn't like the song, it wouldn't have made it on the album. But I'd say it's one of my favorites for sure. And I just love the way the music feels on this song and the lyrics. And it's just one of my favorites, like I said. And this is available actually now. The album just went on pre-order today. So if anybody wants to, in the next week, pre-order the album, if they're liking what they're hearing, they can go on iTunes and do that. And that's very helpful for any artist, but especially an independent artist, because last year with the pre-orders that we had before the album actually came out, I actually got to number 23 on the singer-songwriter iTunes chart, which was a big deal for me personally. Yeah. So I was super excited about that. So anyway, if you want to support me, that's a good way to do that. And for other artists is to pre-order albums and help them shoot up on their chart for their release day. But anyway, like I said, if you want to know more about the album or hear more about it, you can always go to my website or my social medias and check out those videos I've been posting. You'll hear a different song every day. All
right, very good. Kailey Mathis, and here's the song All I Had Left on the Blues and Arts Hour. All I Had Left, Kailey Mathis on the Blues and Arts Hour. The new album is called Overcast, going to be released in a week. But Kailey, how can people pre-order that?
So you can go on iTunes, and if you search Kailey Mathis and look under my album section, it should show up there. You'll see Overcast, and it has like an orange pre-order button. You can go ahead and get that. If you haven't gotten any of the songs previously, it comes out $11.88 for the 12 songs, or it'll deduct any if you've already bought some of my songs. Or you can also, the other thing you can do early is pre-save the album on Spotify. Mm-hmm. That music platform does let you go ahead and go on there and pre-save it. So when it comes available on Friday, it'll show up in your music library for you.
That's terrific. Well, Kailey, I wish you the best. You've got some great talent, and I think you've got a great future ahead. Any final comments before we let you go this morning?
I would just like to thank everybody for supporting me this far, and everybody's just been really great on social media, sharing my stuff and just being just generally overall encouraging. And it goes a long way, especially with just a long and hard year that I've had. I'm sure a lot of people have had, but, a lot of stuff people don't talk about. And it's just great to be here, and it's just a privilege to get to release music and have people care about that and listen to it, to what I have to say, even if whether that's 2 people or 200 people, it doesn't matter. It really means a lot to me. So thank you.
Well, Kailey, thank you for being on the show today. It's been a pleasure.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for having me again.
All right. The Blues and Arts Hour is made possible every week by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi. It's good to be blue. Also thanks to one-of-a-kind locally owned Fusion Coffee House in the Township, Highland Colony Parkway in Ridgeland. I'm Jim Thorn. Thanks for listening. Until next week, God bless.